Hey everybody, this is Ramon Ray, founder of smarthustle.com. Thanks for joining me for another exciting podcast. Well, I think it's going to be exciting, but that'll be for you to determine once you listen or watch this podcast. If you're hearing the sound of my voice or seeing my face, could you give me a 5-star review if you like what you're hearing? And if you don't like what you're hearing, still give a 5-star review. That's fine too. But I'm so glad you're with us today. And you can find great content like this on smarthustle.com, where we inspire and educate small business owners to start and grow successful businesses. And you're about to be in for a treat to hear. I was going to say my friend Jessica, but I think we haven't known each other that long. But I'll say my friend Jessica, who's going to share a bit about where she's been, her journey, her story. And she owns a few salons. I think that's what you call them. And she'll correct me in a minute, salons, and really hear how she's done it and what we can learn as business owners there. So Jessica, welcome to the Smart Hustle podcast. Thanks for spending some time with me today. And I hope you've been blessed and well on this beautiful day as we record this podcast. How are you?
Good, thank you. Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to be here. You're full of energy and alive, and the weather's great here where we're living today. So it's a really good opportunity to just get out there and share some of what I've learned throughout my years, so that if I can inspire someone to get up, get dressed, and show up, I think that sometimes that's half the battle.
Absolutely, it is. And indeed, as we record this, I came back from the gym just about a few minutes ago as we're recording, and it is warm outside. Definitely, I don't know if winter's gone yet. But for sure, anybody who's watching this video and sees me looking around, I put my notebook, Jessica, in a different location. Usually I have it like this on my bookshelf, but I turned it vertical. So it kind of, it's muscle memory. So anyways, but welcome, Jessica. Jessica, I think there's going to be 2 parts to this interview. I think we'll see where it goes. One, where you've been, which I think will inspire people that, hey, if life knocks you down, you still got to get up. And whatever you want to share on that, we'll leave that to you. But I think that's one. Second part is you're a business owner. You got a few salons. And you'll tell me about the detail of that in a minute. And how are you doing it? What are you doing it? What are the challenges been? And things like that. So let's get right into it. Jessica, feel free to take as much time as you want to just give people a bit of understanding of where you've been at and what's brought you to this location, being an entrepreneur. And let me get that right. It is salons, and it's 4 of them, I believe. Is that right?
Yes, I have 4 locations. I have 3 traditional salons, and I have a wellness center that we expanded a few months before COVID hit.
Awesome. And why don't you give us the name? But feel free. Let's start right there. The name of the salons. Give us a website. People listening right now, maybe they want to come by and visit. Tell us about it right today, where it is today.
So it's J. Walker Salon and Wellness. We have a location in Bernardsville. We have a location in Mendham. We have a location in Basking Ridge. Our main salon and our wellness center are located right next door to each other, but in 2 separate buildings. One challenge that I was finding when I first started was that we had a salon and a spa located in the same house, and it was 2 floors. So what you would hear when you came in was the more upbeat, fun music. And then upstairs, as you would go upstairs, there was tranquil, quiet music that was happening. And it wasn't really flowing. So what we found was there was a property that came up next door, and we wanted to give the wellness center and spa its own identity. So we relocated all the people that work there and the space, and took over the space next door and put a really beautiful wellness spa and wellness center together, just there for that purpose, to go in and do your weekly, monthly, quarterly rituals to take care of yourself in a quiet, tranquil space.
I love it. The 2 were the wellness center and spa together, and the other one was
the other 2 are salons. One is located,
salon.
One's more focused on men's, and the other is more focused on a higher end boutique type. It's in Mendham, New Jersey. It's a very, a very quaint, beautiful town. And there are people that like to go and be serviced there privately, so we can accommodate that there.
I love it. I'm curious, before we get into your story, that, we can start right now, is that, how did you discover that was kind of like, something's not right? Was that you and the team just like, Jessica, we're not feeling it? Or was a client like laying down and like, I hear rock music? How did that happen? I'm curious. That's a problem you may not think of until you build it. You're like, wait a minute, this is not right.
Exactly. So you would somewhat hear the bass on the floor. So we would try to soundproof the rooms and do everything we could. We added a door, we added extra carpeting, but it really just wasn't flowing. And I kind of knew when I was walking up and going up and down, we were getting busier and busier, even with the hairstyling. So we originally I had put a wedding center in that wellness space. And that was like an epic fail, to be honest with you, because I had thought that it would make sense to have a wedding center where people could come and have their hair and makeup done, because we do a lot of event styling, and also perhaps partner with a florist, with a DJ, with a band. And when push came to shove, if it was empty Monday through Thursday and we only had business in there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it just wasn't a viable setting. And we really needed more hairstyling stations. So after I learned the hard way, we pulled the plug on the wedding center. And then I said, let's do a wellness center and let's take the spa out of the second floor of the salon and relocate it over to where it would have its own identity. And, it was one of the best decisions that I've ever made, because wellness is all the rage right now. And I think people are really looking for what helps them feel good after everything that we've been through with COVID, taking these rituals and finding connection with people that matter and that can make you feel better. My whole brand is when your outer looks good, your inner feels better. But what I've discovered with having the wellness center is that your inner can really feel better with taking 10 minutes of breathing a day, taking time to get a facial or a massage, going in to have a quiet manicure, pedicure. Even if you're a male, I mean, to be honest with you, I don't think any woman wants to see their man with banged up toes. So I highly encourage all men to go get a pedicure wherever you live, because it's one of the most amazing experiences if you can put your ego aside.
Yes, I love it. I love it. And I want to talk about this wedding epic fail, as you using your words. Like, what do you tell business owners that are afraid of trying something? Because I guess by the way, Jessica, sometimes I ask 10,000 questions in one breath. So feel free to ask me to repeat it. But what do you say to business owners that are scared of failure, or like hearing your story, like, just afraid of failure? I guess that's the question. Just has that given you, gun shy is the word, for the next thing you'll try, like, ooh, I lost X dollars on that one, maybe we shouldn't? Talk about failure, how that works, in decision making.
So when it comes to failure, it's all around us, and it's change and it's decisions. And I believe that we can be prepared, but we can only plan for so much. So that preparedness comes with being able to, it's almost like when you first learn to cut hair, it's, make your section big enough to see, but small enough to adjust. And that would be the same thing when it comes to making business decisions. If you're looking to expand your business, you want to make that decision to where, it's not going to fully impact you and cut your legs off at the end. But at the same time, you have to be willing to take a risk sometimes in order to grow. And then we don't know what we don't know. So having an advisory team, or, trusted professionals that are around you, mentors, business advisors, I really believe that also can give you the crutches and the legs that you need to make the best calculated decision, to be prepared. Now, I didn't realize that wedding center was going to be an epic fail, and it did cost money. However, putting myself in that position to where I can own that mistake and pick myself up and move on, it would have been much better quickly ripping the Band-Aid off than sitting with that for 3, 4, 5 years, not really being able to make and see the fruits of the investment. So after reassessing everything, our wedding and event business is mostly on location. And what I did was, on the second floor of the salon, I created a beautiful studio space that we can basically privately host a wedding and their team on the second floor of the salon, which makes more sense than having the spa on the second floor of the salon. So in navigating failures and risk, I always feel like being prepared as much as you can, writing down what your options are, writing down, what your plan is, and then, just calculating out what's the risk, what's the reward going to be. And leaning on your mentors and advisors can really help navigate through a time where, again, we don't know what we don't know. So that was really, as hard as it was to swallow when I made the decision to say, what, this isn't really working. Now I'm going to have to rip out a bunch of walls and change this. It was one of the best decisions that I could have made for business long term. And then COVID happened. So who would have thought that? So while we're undergoing all the renovations, we were just about finished. The wellness center had opened about 6 or 8 months before that, and it was beautiful, but I was still finishing the renovation of the main salon. And we were never busier, literally, in my entire career. This is my 25th year in business.
I mean, right before COVID happened.
Right before,
okay.
Right. Culture was amazing in the salon. We were so busy. The phones were ringing off the hook. We didn't even have enough space, hence why we were doing this expansion.
Right.
And why I expanded into that other town in Mendham to open up another salon, was because we had a lot of staff and a lot of different people that were working, and the demand was there. And then COVID happened. Then I was like, oh my God, now I have 4 locations. I have to pay 4 rents, mortgages, however you want to look at them. I have 4 monthly expenses of different brick and mortar spaces. And I have all of these checks to sign. And it was like, holy crap, what am I going to do? Back in the day when I first started, that was 1997. In June of 1997, I opened up my first location in Bernardsville. It was in a shopping center in the center of town, which was a really great location. But when I was there for 5 years, I was just getting ready to celebrate my 5-year anniversary, and I received a letter that I had 60 days to vacate. So I had lost my lease on a technicality. And what I started doing was cold calling salons in the area to see if they were interested or willing to sell, or if they were planning on staying. So I really think by the grace of God, I was able to pick up a location right across the street that was a house by itself, and it had a salon in there. We wound up making a deal to make it work. And living through that time, though, of when I lost the lease and I had to show up every day and smile to my staff, was a huge challenge, because I really wasn't able to let them know their vulnerability at that time,
Right.
because their life and their paychecks are in my hands. So I really had to put myself out there and try to do whatever I could to be between the two lights in
Yes.
this town, because you can't really relocate a clientele, never mind locate an entire salon. So at that time, I believe we had between 8 and 10 employees, and we were pretty busy. I mean, we were, generating more and more money every year. And it was a really, really difficult time. And again, you don't know what you don't know, but on the other side of that was this opportunity to be in a standalone home where I had a purchase option, which that would have never happened if I would have stayed in the shopping center. Being able to have this standalone house and have a purchase option for when the landlord of the building potentially wanted to get out and retire or sell gave me an opportunity that I never would have had before. And fast forward to 2011, I was able to buy the property.
Good for you. Oh,
Yeah,
good
so
for you.
that is a separation factor,
Yes.
because, when you're looking at building your business and building your brand, where you put your eggs and where you're planning and being prepared comes with, can you look at potentially buying that real estate in the future if you want to? Because when it comes time for you to look at your succession plan and or selling or bringing in partners, if you want to travel and do other things in your life, it's really important having the opportunity to be able to buy the real estate.
And that's an important part, I guess, if you're, if you're a software business, your real estate, something else, but for your business, salons and et cetera, real estate is, besides your staff and your clients, obviously real estate is everything. I'm guessing that can make or break your whole operation. Is that correct?
100%. Location is key, where you are located, what your demographics are, who your target market is, and what your target client is. Being able to attract that and then keep that there. It really depends on where you're located, how your parking is. People in the city right now are really, really struggling, and my heart goes out to them, because everybody's come out, towards New Jersey and, away from the city, if you will. So, location is really key.
Yeah, for sure. And can you just, I want to put a bow on that. What happened to you at the beginning when you lost your lease and things like that? And then COVID, were you saying that prepared you? You didn't say that, but I want to put words in your mouth. Was that a precursor and gave you some more grit, even though you've had a lot of grit already, but gave you some grit? Was that what I'm connecting there, or no?
Yes, 100%, because I've already been in a place where I pulled in to the parking lot and nothing was happening, and I had to get all of my stuff out of there. And being prepared, knowing that that could happen, it was in the back of my mind. I had no idea that COVID was going to happen, but at least I knew that I have the wherewithal, I have the skill set, and I have the opportunity to get through this. So I put myself out there advocating for small business, advocating for employers and employees alike that need to be able to take care of their families and put food on the table. When, there were big box stores that were opened up and we weren't allowed to be open, and the jeweler across the street is like, well, why can they sell jewelry at these big box stores and I can't? It just, none of it made any sense to me. So I really put myself out there and put energy into connection and being able to, support small business and speak up as much as I could.
I love that. And I want to get to your story, your background, Jessica, as well. But before we do that, can you talk a bit about how you came out of COVID? It's something that's happened that we're still in the midst of in some way, but can you give us the summary or the detail of, meaning things shut down, you can't open up for X period of time, zero money is coming in? I'm just making up some assumptions here. What was that period of time like, the months or years? Give us paint the picture of what you did to be here, still talking to me today. Did you EIDL loans, not give us the whole shebang there?
So we were closed for 3 months. We really tried to do the Zoom thing, connect with our staff. We tried to, conduct one-on-ones and host meetings to keep morale up. Again, like I had said before, the culture and my business was really, really thriving. We all were thriving as a team. So to have this loss, it was like, whoa, what are we going to do? So I immersed myself in trying to connect with the staff And I tried to get open as soon as we possibly could. I mean, I reached out to the governor, I reached out to the mayor, the papers, some of the news channels. I really tried to do whatever I could to get us back up and running. And, at that point, I was in business 22, 23 years. I just keep thinking about this year. It's my 25th year in business.
Congratulations.
There's no way that I want to just throw the towel in and give up. I have a lot still left to give back to my community and to support the people that we make feel good on the regular.
Yeah.
One thing that we found as a team and as a company is that our community truly missed us. And they really found our value in what we do, because when they were signing onto that screen and they had the gray roots and they had the long hair and they had eyebrows that, they had to fix at home, these things matter to people.
Yes,
and
yes.
I really feel like that connection, it was so much stronger of them empathizing with us that we couldn't take care of them and we couldn't make money. And at the same time, we were empathizing with them because it was a shock to be able to not be taken care of and then have somebody come to your house, take care of you in your garage.
And is that how it was? Is that the 3 months or whatever? Did you hybrid and go to people? Is that what happened?
Technically, you weren't really supposed to be. So
okay, well, I won't ask you that question. Don't even answer.
Okay, it's okay. Technically, you weren't supposed to be, but there was a lot of bootleg
Yes.
hair on the side going on and going down. So it was hard for me to say, all right, do I allow my staff to do it?
I was watching Undercover, not Undercover Billionaire, but the Undercover Billionaire. It's like a new show, not the one where you have the Subway's founder and all that, but there's an offshoot of that. Grant Cardone and others. Point being, there was a lady who you've seen it, who put her customer in the passenger seat of her car, laid the passenger seat down. Your staff, the beautician or the cosmetic.
You got it. Yeah.
Okay, beautician. She goes to the back seat and works on the customer from the back seat with the customer laying back. You get the picture of what I'm saying?
Yes,
so I thought that was pretty cool. She brought her kit, went to the back seat, said, "Go pull the thing, lay back. We're now at a salon."
Yeah, and people are very resourceful, and that also brought fear to owners in the business, in the industry, because when you have this opportunity around you where you see this disruption, it brings fear. And so if we see our staff going to people's homes and then we find out about it, whether they're disclosing it to us or not, they have to feed their kids. So on one hand, I get it. But then when that happens, do they have to go back to the salon and work for someone? Or can they do this on the side and get cash? I mean, it's real. It's an elephant in the room. It's what was happening. It's still happening. And, I think one thing that they may miss if they choose to go that route is the connection.
Yes.
Perhaps. And they might not. Things change. And one thing's for sure is change. I always look at every disruption and fear as an opportunity. And it really sits with me as something that I can, try to observe and watch what's happening around me with the people that are potentially going to homes and the clients that like that service now. There are still people that don't want to come out and go into the environment of a busy salon. And there are people that they miss it so much. So one thing's for sure is there's enough people to go around to take care of all of us and to make sure that we're all busy and doing what we love. So COVID was just a real huge struggle. We have a list of curious questions that we can bring up with our clients if someone's sometimes at a loss for words. And one of those is, what were your takeaways from COVID? So I think as much as, there's so much negative connotation on it, there was a lot of beautiful moments that we had as families, as sisters and brothers in the world, coming together, locking eyes with each other when you were out with a mask on, where you felt that emotion. There were times and experiences that I had with my family that I would have never had if this didn't happen. So again, looking back at Viktor Frankl when he's in prison, he's sitting in that and he was making the best of the situation. And with every hard situation and every hard time, there is beauty that can come from that. And that's really where I try to stay, in that positive outlook in inspiring someone, because what's the other option?
I love it. Your positivity. But by the way, do you have a book out? If you don't, you need to have one or two or three. So
I don't yet. It's in the works.
Let's get that book out. So Jessica, tell us where you've come from. Everybody has a story. Everybody has a place they've started from. What's your story? Share that with the smartest audience. Where were you at, which made you, in part, I'm guessing, the amazing woman you are today, Jessica? Where give us that story.
Well, thank you so much for that. Back in the day when I was a young girl, I came from a family of entrepreneurs. My parents were entrepreneurs. They had multiple businesses and they worked a lot. And I really wanted to be with them. I loved getting their attention and I needed it. And I would go to work with them on the weekends. So by the time I was 12 years old, I was getting dressed up in a red suit and little heels, and I was selling furniture at Americana West in Soho. And I loved them watching me walk around and talk to people. And from there, they had a couple other businesses. I ran different parts of their businesses. They had a roller skating rink. I worked there. And I really learned so much from listening to them throughout the day and in the car. And I loved business. I loved helping people. I loved making a difference in someone's life, however that could be. So I went to cosmetology school right after graduating from high school. I needed to make money. I had a daughter when I was very young. So with that said, prior to me even graduating from cosmetology school, my dad came home and he said, I found a salon for you. You're going to open up a salon. And I was like, I don't even know how to cut hair. And he's like, you'll figure that part out. That's what you're in school for. So long story short, they gave me a loan. I paid it back. I never borrowed $1 from anybody. And a lot of the lessons that I've learned was that there's a solution for everything. Every problem can be solved if you ask yourself the right question. And something that he would always tell me, both my parents would always say, get up, get dressed, and show up. Do the right thing when no one's watching. Make sure that you're loyal to the people who are taking care of you, even if they're not loyal back. And that's a practice, because I think emotions, especially when you're young in business, and I was so young when I started, I was 19. So you figure that those first 5 years when I had that business and it was thriving, I was in a very busy shopping center. It was a lot to be able to manage operations, sales, finance. At the time, it was the checkbook. It was a paper book. There was no computers. And I started out, with a highlighter and a pencil. And then I went into a DOS-based computer program, which was crazy.
I know DOS, of course. Yeah.
We're showing our age.
Command control, absolutely.
Yes, exactly. So just being able to navigate through what the curve is, the next best thing, being innovative, looking to diversify your income, whether it's getting involved with doing weddings, makeup, and hair. Something that really gave me legs and strength in the community was getting involved and giving back to the community. I started doing the local high school fashion show pro bono the year that I opened. And from there, I was involved with many organizations in town that give back, whether it was shaving heads for St. Baldrick's, hosting and facilitating cut-a-thons, especially for 9/11, getting involved with Heartworks, which was a foundation that was started right after 9/11, grassroots, to keep that kindness going. A few years back, I think it was probably 6 or 7 years ago, I was honored and actually asked to be on the board of directors for Heartworks. Huge honor. In 2012, I joined the Diva for a Day program, where we would bring a woman with cancer into our salon and spa and provide a day for them, including lunch and flowers, facial, manicure, pedicure, massage, hair, makeup. It's really an amazing organization, and they're actually across the country, in 300 or 400 salons across the country. And they also invited me to be on their board of directors. So all of these things I say to you and to the audience out there is that, your network matters.
Yes.
And when you do the right thing when no one's watching, that giver's gain, it comes back to you. And when you're doing it from a place of love and gratitude, people see it and they can tell. And it really can enhance the culture of your business. I know it did for mine. And I strongly encourage you to get involved with, different organizations and programs that you might have locally in your town. And then if you have the capacity and the bandwidth to stretch out from there, it's really made a difference in who I am and how I'm standing before you now with 4 locations, expanding the business across different platforms, and having this on location event and bridal business as well today.
You're an American hero. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Oh, stop.
I really think so. Do you have a few more minutes past 30, or do you have a hard stop?
No, I'm
Okay,
good.
good.
I'm good.
Yeah, just a few more questions. I want to dive into 4 core things: marketing, hiring, Yeah, marketing, hiring, I think, yeah, and maybe finance a little bit. And not, I don't have a particular question, but can you just spend a minute or two telling us how you get your clients? Because it's in person, is it usually walk-in traffic? Do you do any Facebook ads, Google ads, flyers? Just talk about, give us some advice what you're doing and how maybe other salons, and maybe it's just good customer service. Again, I've interviewed many people. So what's your playbook for how you're getting customers and repeat customers? Give us a master class on that.
Awesome. I think that that's a really great question on marketing and how to get customers, attract your target client, and then keep them. What I started doing probably 10 years ago, when I rebranded the company from Plaza Salon and Spa to J. Walker Salon, I dug deep into why I'm doing what I'm doing and who I stand for and what this business is about. My dad was orphaned when he was 10 years old, and he lost his mom. And this company is named after his mother, J. Walker. That's who this business is totally surrounding. This way, it gives me legs to keep that legacy going and that succession plan. With that said, when my marketing goes out, I'm very big into telling the story and telling the story of the people we work with. Being out there on Facebook, Instagram, social media, it's so important. Doing monthly campaigns, acknowledging who you are as a business and what you do for your community, I think is so important. And I believe that as hairstylists and cosmetologists, this is just what we do naturally. So we have a tough time talking about it because we don't want to seem like it's ego filled, but people need to know. And when they know, they want to support you more. And that's something that I found out by accident. It wasn't something that I had planned on. I just found out by accident by doing what we do on the regular. But marketing was so key and instrumental in how we've gotten here, because again, we need new clients. There's always attrition. And even over COVID, it was one area that I never cut. I knew that I could cut other things, but when I was shut down, I said, I'm not going to cut my marketing. People need to know my voice. They need to know our voice as a team and as a community, and they need to know that we're here to stay and we're not going anywhere. We really give hair with love. We try to give consultations that are extraordinary, extra love. And it's something that we really pride ourselves on as a brand. So when it comes to marketing, definitely finding the right team to support you is amazing if you have professionals that you could do it. But so many times done is better than perfect. And putting your story out there and doing the little TikTok videos, doing quick tutorials, quick boomerangs, quick Facebook posts, that right there, wherever you're located, can add connection to that audience. And if you do something that intrigues them, they'll want to come in. Of course, we have to give great hair. That goes without saying. But when it comes to what the world sees on the outside, our brand is our reputation. And that means what people say about us behind our back. So that doesn't have to be a bad thing. That can be an amazing thing. And with constant never-ending improvement and consistency, marketing is key to growing your business, maintaining your business. And then of course, what you do on the ground with your business is how you then keep your customers coming back and loving it, and then telling other people about it.
Absolutely. No, I love that. I'm curious, do you do paid spending as well? Or is it pretty much all organic marketing, social media, et cetera? Or is there any paid monthly spend behind that as well?
We have done paid monthly spend, especially when it comes to some of the wellness services that we offer, body contouring, hydrofacials, those types of services people are interested in. So I feel like if you really want to be top of mind, the competition is fierce and there's so much noise around what's happening. So for me and what I believe in, I do like to spend the money on it because again, I know the risk associated with how much I can spend and where I can go. And the reward, if it comes, and if you have that right team on your side, I think it totally outweighs the risk. And of course, we want to make money, and we want most of all the staff to be happy and the staff to thrive. Because when your staff thrives, that's when your community thrives. And that's how I do my business. I talk and try to work for my staff. I always say that I'm a servant leader and I work for them. And that's really what I'm looking, is making sure that they stay busy.
I love it. And to that point, Jessica, last question I have for you is that, can you talk about hiring and staff and things like this? Jessica's right here while a customer's walking into your third location down the block, around a corner, or maybe in the future in another country. How do you ensure that, because as a fellow business owner myself, I love the brand. It's my business. The question is about hiring, staff, training. You can answer it however you want, but just give us some thoughts on hiring and consistency. It's not, Jessica's not there with the comb or brush or, whatever it is. Talk to us about that.
Yeah. So when it comes to hiring, understanding what your core values are, and me understanding what my core values are, and if you have your own business, knowing what your values are, what you stand for, what your mission is. When you have that interview with people that are out there right now, people are saying, oh, everybody's leaving their jobs. They're just looking for something new. So create something beautiful that they have to look at. Be the best looking brand that you can be on social media, and it will attract your target employees.
Yes.
They will come. And then when they're in there and you're interviewing them, you want to ask the appropriate questions so that you can find out what's important to them. You know, is it their family? And is it their time off? Is it their traveling? All those things are okay. Right now, people want to work. They want to be a part of something bigger. So hiring and attracting people, you know, I have ads out on Indeed all the time because we are busy and, you know, we always need to hire people, but I want to hire the right team member. I want the right team member that can enhance and bring their unique gift to my brand so that together it becomes a larger brand that's built up of incredible talent. Without that, there's no business. So, I mean, I wouldn't be sitting here today if I didn't have amazing people that do the grind work on the day-to-day. So, you know, when it comes to hiring, putting the right ad out there with the right job description, also when you go through having the right interview questions and spending time interviewing people, bring them back in for a second and third interview. And if you're not sure, bring them back in again and ask more questions. That's the way to do it, you know, in my book. And when it comes to education and training, I believe in constant never-ending improvement. So it doesn't matter what kind of business you have. If you're in communications, you need to go back and do training on that. You know, I don't know how many of you guys use Apple computers, but I'm sitting with one right now. It needs to go in and it needs to get updates done. That's the same with our brains. We need to go in and get updates done. So whether you're in a technical business or service industry, or you're in something that's behind the chair with computers, etc. You have to go in and you have to continue to build yourself up and learn skills. I think that one area that is so underrated is emotional intelligence and self-awareness. And when you can grow that muscle inside of you, and a lot of hairstylists, they have this. It's innate inside of them. We want to help people. We want to make people feel great, and feel beautiful. You know, very similar to a nurse. You know, nurses, they want to make people feel great. We do too. It's just a different skill set. We have a lot of people that are coming into our industry that are coming in from nursing into aesthetics, for that matter, because they want to help people look and feel good with their face and their skincare. There's so much opportunity all around, but education and training is the #1 tool. It doesn't matter what industry you're in, that can help you gain self-awareness, gain confidence, then share with others. Once you feel like you've hit your peak, which I don't feel like I ever will, I'm always training, I'm always reading books, and I'm always taking classes, then I'm in the position to share with others. And that's where I think magic happens. And that's where I think we can make a better world, even if it's our little community where we are right now.
Mic drop. I dropped 4 mics just now. Jessica, you are a breath of fresh air. I can't wait to read your book, whatever it is. I don't care if it's about eyelashes and curling. I'm going to read it. And this interview is amazing. Anything I didn't ask you or anything you wanted to share before we conclude this time, Jessica? It's been amazing. And I hope we can speak again. I hope to have you on one of my stages at my events, but please, anything that you wanted to share that I didn't ask?
Thank you. I just want to say that I appreciate you being an outlet for positivity and community, and for putting yourself out there to do what you do, because without people like you, these stories like mine can't get out there. And I always say, if I can inspire one person to get up, get dressed, and show up. Working out is something else that I think it's the best drug on earth. If anybody struggles with the day-to-day grind, you know, that is sometimes half the battle. So, you know, get a great workout in and spread the love, and together we can change our world.
I love it. Jessica, one more time, give us the name of your salon or salons, whatever brands there may be. Feel free to brag a bit and give us websites. Take some time to share all that with us if you don't mind.
Of course. It's J Walker Salon, J Walker Wellness. We have locations in Bernardsville, Basking Ridge, and Mendham. And we're a full service salon. We have a beautiful wellness center. That's a great, tranquil space. So come and check us out online. And I also have an action planner at my website. If you can go under to Meet Jessica Walker, it gives you a day-to-day daily planner on getting your the message in the mess and bringing some clarity to the chaos that we live in every day.
I love this. Jessica, I feel refreshed talking to you. Everybody, this is Ramon Ray, founder of smarthustle.com, where we motivate and educate small business owners every single day to start and grow their businesses so they can live the lives they want, making a living for their family, supporting their communities. If you're hearing the sound of my voice, I think I've said this 4 million times already, but I'm going to say it again. Give me a 5-star review. If you don't like what you heard, that's right, 5, then still give us a 5-star review, and we appreciate you. And again, you can hear interviews like this. Well, not quite like this. This one was very special from Jessica, but it's smarthustle.com.